What's up guys, Ricky C here today with the Canadian Grand Prix as Marcus Ericsson in our Sauber. Loving it, 8th place at the moment, 30 points, 93 back from Nico Rosberg. I mean, we are hot on the championship trail, aren't we? Come on, I can feel it in the air tonight. We're going to get it. Nazir's got a brilliant 9 points, 21 points ahead of our teammate, loving it. 5th place in the Constructors, that is what we need. We are going to catch up Red Bull ASAP.
Welcome to a wet Montreal here in Canada as today's practice session is about to start. We can expect some difficult driving conditions today, which should provide a real challenge for the drivers. It's always enjoyable coming to Montreal as it produces an exciting weekend's racing. High speeds and tough corners means there's always a chance of a driver losing their front wing, going off into an escape road, or even heading into the gravel.
So in practice we can see it's raining cats and dogs, and that means we got to be pretty careful around the hairpin here because that is one of the more tricky corners on the calendar. As you can see, we're still well spinning in 4th gear as we go down the longest straight on this Gilles-Villeneuve circuit. Is that what it's called? It might be called that, something like that. Anyway, going into the final chicane for the first time in the week. Oh no, the second time in the weekend. We do take a pretty nice line, to be fair, and with Raikkonen at a 22.8, which was eventually the fastest time, we get a 1:23.
Good afternoon, and we hope you're ready for an exciting qualifying session as the teams make their final preparations here in Canada. The Canadian Grand Prix has been dominated over the years by Ferrari, McLaren and Williams. They have over 30 wins between them, so I expect a good showing from all of those teams here again today.
That's true, but Mercedes have such a strong package this year, it would surely be a mistake to rule them out of a chance of winning. However, Montreal is a very different type of circuit though, where you have to run the lowest downforce settings of the season so far. It's also extremely hard on brakes, so it's all to play for in today's session.
Right, setup time. For Canada, you want 1-1 wings, pretty standard really. Lots and lots of long straights, a few corners, like chicanes, hairpins. You don't really spend much time mid-corner, so 1-1 wings is 100% the way to go. The rest of the setup, I don't really know. As I've said before, just go on time trial, steal someone's setup, whoever's fast, like top 10, anyone in the top 10, steal their setup and try and use it as best you can. And I guess move a few things here and there to see if, I don't know, you can perfect it for your style of driving, because everyone has their different styles, different way they take corners. Anyway, qualifying, the actual lap got corrupted. This is only a 1:16. We finish off with a 1:15, I think, but I don't know, my Gato's being a bitch at the moment, so I will see you guys after quali.
That's a perfect end to the day for Lewis Hamilton, who'll be on pole now for tomorrow's race.
Well, I think he's going to be difficult to beat from pole, and if he can hold off any challenges in the first few laps, he'll create a gap and be off into the distance.
8th and 6th in Saubers. Beautiful, beautiful. Top 10 for both Saubers, that's amazing. 5 tenths between us, so we're looking to score some big points now. We're right on the tail of Mr. Bottas and the Williams, I think 600ths of a second, no, 6,000ths of a second between us, so we are going to challenge him, hopefully. Massa was actually in 11th, so he's going to be flying through the field, you'd probably imagine. But anyway, I'll leave you guys to Crofty and Mr. Davidson for the build-up of the Canadian Grand Prix.
It's Sunday afternoon here in Montreal, and we're about to find out who's best prepared to take on this 4.3-kilometre track and, of course, the infamous Wall of Champions. Lewis Hamilton starts on pole today, and with the blistering pace he's shown all weekend long, it shouldn't come as a surprise if he leaves the opposition in his wake during the race today.
He'll want to end this weekend on a high after yesterday's fantastic performance, but he's going to have a lot of competition. I doubt he'll be expecting an easy race, especially considering the teams around him.
It was a disappointing race last time out for Lewis Hamilton. He needs to bounce back today. In the pre-race interviews, he's been talking a lot about the importance of mental strength and not dwelling on problems and bad performances.
Lewis can wear his heart on his sleeve and at times is led by his emotions. I think since his move to Mercedes though, he's showing a greater level of maturity, which is helping him become more consistent in his performances.
Yeah, Lewis is a god. We know you love him, Anthony. Anyway, we're on the grid. We did qualifying on options, so we're going to have to use some options for the start. It's going to be a one-stop race, apparently. That doesn't bode well for the Sauber because we do not hang on to our tyres. Anyway, waiting for the lights to go out. In 6th position, and away we go. We got Ricciardo on our left-hand side. He's probably going to come up as per usual because we do not get good starts in this Sauber or any car on this game. But I think we pretty much covered him off. We're going to go up the inside of Bottas into turn 2, but we don't have the best exit, and we've kind of squeezed him out, but he's hung it out there, and got around the outside of us. So brave old Bottas there. So we've stuck in 6th, so that's a pretty decent start. Felipe is in 8th, so that's good for Sauber. We're going into turns 6 and 7 now. Coming out, we're getting a little bit squirrely, so we're going to lose a lot of time to Ricciardo, who's got a Hulkenberg coming up the inside apparently. But he has probably just about kept that place he has, as we have kept 6th. So with the pretty bad straight line speed that Ricciardo has, he couldn't get us on that straight. So lap 3, DRS will be enabled next lap, as we all know. Anyway, we've got a little view of the start now, and we can see just how close we get to the rear end of Bottas, and then we try and hang it out, and he hangs it around the outside. We push him onto the grass as much as we can, but he just stays so committed, like throttle to the floor, and just stays around the outside, despite being on the grass, and does us. So that's pretty impressive. We get a little view from Daniel Ricciardo going into turn 1. So actually he doesn't get that great of a start on us. He does dive up the inside just a little bit, but we hang it around the outside, then we dive up the inside of Bottas, and we can see this probably looks more dramatic than it was. Yeah, it does. Well, yeah. But good bit of movement there, and we've stuck it out in 6th place. Going into the turn 7 and 8, we've hit the wall with the rear left, so not good spatial awareness there from us. But we think we've just about kept position, but we've lost a lot of time to Bottas, which will ensure that we've lost DRS, and we're going to be vulnerable to Ricciardo. So what, 1.6 seconds ahead is Bottas, and 1.5 is Ricciardo. We could definitely lost a lot more from that. Because, you know, if we had lost a wing, it could have been lights out for our race, doors, whatever you want to call it. Could have been really, really bad for our championship as well. But here we go. The Ferraris are challenging Rosberg, the Mercedes of Rosberg, into the final chicane. Going across the line, Raikkonen has DRS and the slipstream from Rosberg. Goes around the outside of Vettel. Vettel is on the outside for turn 2. He tries to hang it around the outside. They actually hit. They go into the wall. So this means that the Ferraris are going to be vulnerable from us and Bottas. We actually turn up on the scene lap 5. We get past Vettel. We get past Raikkonen. So that puts us into 4th. But because this game is fucking awful, we get an illegal overtake. Didn't see any yellow flags out there. I saw a green one. Didn't see a yellow. But there we go. F1 2015, ladies and gentlemen. What a let's clap. What a masterpiece. I don't want to do that too loudly because the mic's really sensitive. Anyway, here we go. Lap 5, P6, going into the DRS detection zone. Actually, no, sorry, sector 3. And the DRS detection zone, same thing. We have DRS on Vettel going down the main straight. But on lap 6, we actually lose it. We have Raikkonen right on our rear, and it's time to pit. Past the fire engines on the right to get a new set of option tyres. So lap 6, that is early to get a set of tyres, because, well, yeah, that we probably lap 9. You could do lap 9 and then lap 21 if we're going to do 2 options, but we've decided to get a massive undercut. We got a fresh bout of clean air. Stevens was behind us, and now we're going to get past Verstappen on lap 9. So pretty simple. We've got a massive train. The cars in the distance, so you'd think they should all be pretty easy prey for us. I mean, on the whole, despite struggling coming out of turn 2 with traction. And lap 11 now, we've actually pretty much caught up. We're about 1.5 seconds behind Kvyat, and the massive train are now less than a second after about 2 corners. So that's good. That shows the pace that we have on these option tyres. Still struggling with traction. Going into turn 3 and 4, are we going to do some miraculous, crazy inside dive bomb? Yep, up past Kvyat, Button and Grosjean, and we squeeze out, as you can see in the little left helicopter cam. Grosjean gets squeezed out and Button comes flying past him. Kenny can keep that position though, because we know Button has got an awful Honda engine in that McLaren. But yeah, he's kept it from Grosjean, so sorry Grosjean, we need points and you are just collateral in our quest to get them. So going into the hairpin now, we've got Alonso. He should be pretty easy as well. Are we going to take, what, 4 or 5 cars in one lap? Yep, this will be the 4th, so get the DRS open any moment now. Slipstream, he has DRS and a little bit of slipstream, but it really doesn't matter. Because as we said before, the Honda is about 20 miles an hour slower in a straight line. So that's good for us. And now coming up behind Perez, he's got well, all sideways coming out of the chicane, almost hit the wall of wall of champions. And we're passed by turn 1, so another pretty simple move. So that puts us up into 10th points position. Only 1 point, not really what we're aiming for, because we've only got 40 at the moment. I don't even know if we have 40 at the moment. About 30, I think. Up behind the second Force India. He gets sideways going through the Wall of Champions as well, or beside the Wall of Champions. He actually goes defensive on us. So we have to go around the outside. Are we just going to turn in and say, if you want to crash, we'll crash? Yep, we've done that, and he's backed off. So that means that now we've got Nasir ahead of us, our teammate, going into a yellow flag zone on lap 15. We've actually got Vettel going quite slowly. Didn't want to overtake him because I didn't want to get another illegal overtake, so I stopped before I saw the green actually flash up in the light box you saw on the right hand side. We got past safely, cleanly, no penalties, no illegal overtakes. Means we don't have to lose any more time on this lap. And now on lap 16 we can see a whole host of cars diving into the pit lane. A little bit of front wing scattered across the Wall of Champions, so someone's obviously had a bit of an excursion there and hit the wall. And we can see Raikkonen actually pops out of the pits. Can we get him? Doesn't look like it. We can get past Bottas though, so that's quite crucial to our race, even though he is in a much faster car. So we've got past Bottas. Raikkonen's just ahead on cold tyres, so maybe we can, don't know, work some kind of crazy move. But we've come to the end of the lap and it doesn't seem like we can do that. His tyres will be up to temperature now. He'll be able to fly off in that Ferrari and we'll be stuck here defending from Bottas for quite a long time, you could imagine. But it's quite key that we keep the DRS and the slipstream of Raikkonen for as long as possible. Doesn't really seem like we can do that though. Riding up the curb as much as we can. The AI don't really take that same line as I do. They take a wide line, miss the curb, and try and get as best traction as possible. But Bottas comes flying up the inside going into turn 8. He doesn't really know what he's doing, driving like a bit of an amateur on the apex, just stops. And it means that we can get past, loses us time. I would rather him just pop past there, us get DRS, and we'll just follow him in the slipstream for the next couple of laps. Doesn't really happen the way you want it. So that means we have to struggle with him behind us a little bit more. It's always easier to chase somebody in Formula 1, I find, or racing, because you don't have the pressure. You can kind of concentrate more, you focus on the back end of their car, and you can focus on the lines much easier rather than having to focus behind you. But we've jumped into the pits, kind of confusing Bottas a bit. He goes really aggressive up the inside. Lap 18, prime tyres. Should be our final stop. This is going to be a 16 lap stint. So coming out of the pit stop now. Bottas is... No, that's Massa just ahead of us. So have we jumped Massa? We haven't. It's pretty obvious that we haven't. We're ahead of Ricciardo though. And as I've said before, Ricciardo is really our main championship rival at this stage. He's in a car that doesn't have good straight line speed. The Williams are too fast, Ferrari are too fast, Mercedes are too fast. We can't challenge them, but the fight for 7th in the whole championship is on between me, Ricciardo, maybe Kvyat, definitely not Nasir, because we seem to really be outperforming this Sauber at the moment, much better than Nasir's driving. I mean, his races are quite good, but our qualifying puts us in such a good position for the race that he can't really recover that well. But anyway, we've got a kind of series of laps going through them at the moment until we get to the hairpin on lap 24. We finally caught up to Massa after all that time. Around about 5 laps I think we spent trying to chase him, trying to hunt him down. We were within about 2 seconds, just couldn't get that gap. But when you finally get DRS, it makes it so much easier in Formula 1 nowadays. So it means we can get DRS, get into a slipstream, come flying up behind him, going down into the final chicane. Easy move. It's kind of your bread and butter, really, isn't it? We've got to watch out how he doesn't come back at us now, because he's got a much better exit out of the short turn 13 and 14. Going across the line now to start lap 25. We got the move done, sign still delivered, and hopefully 5th place. I am yours. But as we all know in Formula 1, nothing lasts forever. And after about 3 corners, we go and hit the wall. One of the probably easiest walls to hit on this game. Kind of lose composure. Get a little bit snaky on the curb, and we've got a view of Massa coming up behind us now. He's going to jump up the inside under the Fire Emirates sign going into turn 8 and 9. Rides the curb, we cut the corner like a motherfucker and get away. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. We got away anyway. As we get really lot of something or other, a lot of rear braking going into the hairpin. Lose loads of time. Massa's now back on our rear. He's going to have DRS, he's going to have a Williams, he's going to have a Mercedes engine, he's going to have a fast Brazilian in there. And he comes flying up the inside going into the chicane. We're going to let him have it because we know we can do a cutback here. He's got an awful line going into the chicane. We've got much better line. Doesn't matter about the DRS. Doesn't matter about the Mercedes. We can just get in the slipstream, jump up the inside, be forceful over the AI, which is what you should be. We've jumped up the inside. Massa's gone wide. It means Ricciardo's got a much, much easier way through than we ever had. But, you know, that's actually quite good because, as I've said before, the Renault Red Bull, not good in a straight line. Not going to be able to catch this Sauber Ferrari, even with DRS, even with the long straight in Canada. We just have to whack it up to fast, get a good exit, and we will be golden. We can see Ricciardo's got a front row seat to the fireworks show that is this Sauber. I remember having a lot of front row seats to TRL Limitless's barbecue back in season 5 and 6. Well, I didn't have front row seats to it. I wasn't that quick, but I remember seeing it in the distance. You know, as it left this atmosphere left my atmosphere anyway. Anyway, coming out the left right chicane, we've got another bad exit. Bad exit. We've kind of got almost a tank slapper on. Massa's going to come flying up the inside. Is he going to make a move happen? If we can just cut the front wing off. Well, not cut it off, but you know what I mean. Just chop that place where he could fit the car through off, which we have done perfectly. If you actually go back and stop the video, you'll see how close our right rear tyre was to the left part of his front wing. It was absolutely crazy. As we've gone down to first gear in order to get the best exit, apparently we've got 25% of our fuel remaining, which is plenty because we know that 17.5 is half of 35. So half of 17.5 is what, like 8 point something or other, 8.9 or something like that, 8.6 probably. So we've got plenty of laps, we've got plenty of fuel. We can probably use some of it up. Massa's failed another attempt into the final chicane. We just got to keep pushing as hard as we can to try and eke out this gap. We're 7 tenths up at the moment. Bottas is about 18 seconds ahead, increasing the gap to 19, so a second a lap faster. Massa's down to 5 tenths now. We just got to push as hard as we can to stop Massa getting a run on us down the main straight and the DRS straight. And if he does get a run on us, we've got to be really smart and cut back. Anyway, coming up to the part of the track this Sauber is really not strong at. We've got 1-1 wings, we've understeered into the wall, we've smashed the wall on the right hand side. And now going into turns fire 6 and 7 is what it definitely is. Massa's pretty close to us, not that close. Ricciardo's closer to him than he is to us. But he's got a bit of a run on us. We got on the grass just a tiny weeny bit. And going underneath the flyer Emirates sign, he's gone around the outside, he's hit the rear of our car, we've hit the left barrier, we're okay, the wing's okay, the wing's okay. So we're good, we're okay. Jesus Christ, how close was that? What he did there, I have no idea, that was ridiculous. We've jumped up the inside into the hairpin though. Going to go down to first gear to see if we can get up in short shift and get a really, really good exit here down the main straight. We should have DRS, we should have the slipstream. Ricciardo won't get past us because the car just isn't fast enough in a straight line. So we should pop past Massa now. Whew, no harm, no foul. Okay, no harm, no foul. Just got to keep saying that to myself. We're back into the lead of this little battle for the 5th. Obviously not the lead of the race. That would be amazing if we were battling with the Mercedes, but that's not going to happen at this stage of the season and on this track. Oh, so we got the gap. 23 seconds now. Bottas is up. Anyway, so Massa goes on the outside. He decides that that's not the place to go. Switches to the right across us. Whacks our diffuser. We spin left into the wall, bounce off, spin right into the track, hit him. He hits the wall on the right hand side. Then we go sliding across the track and just about make it out alive. Ricciardo's sitting there like, yep, keep doing that, boys, I'll get the place. We've got to remember though, we have locked up all 4 tyres, so they're going to be, well, crying enough soon enough. And we've actually hit Massa in the middle of the hairpin, or actually on the exit of the hairpin, and he spun. Ricciardo stuck. Vettel squeezed past. So, wow, just bad driving by me, I guess, in the end. But it seems like it's helped myself and Vettel at least. So with 2 seconds to go, Vettel's got the 1 lap to do it, and it doesn't look like he's done it. So, the final chicane, the final corner for the last time, as we just about missed the Wall of Champions. Coming across the line to get 5th place. We're happy about this. That's a good result in this Sauber. We'll take 10 points. That's exactly what we need. Ericsson is showing absolutely no emotion. The stone cold Swede. Forget about Raikkonen. This man is the real Iceman.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Top drive from Nico Rosberg today. The German finished on the top step of the podium with a comprehensive performance.
Sometimes a driver just feels comfortable in the car and is dialed into the track, making for an unbeatable combination.
After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.
Right, well, while old man Croft goes and has a lie down, we will reflect on what was a pretty exciting race, let's face it. Not quite as good as Monaco, but, you know, a good sequel to that race. The end result, 4 points for Nazir in 8th, so that's really good for Sauber, and 10 points for me in 5th for Sauber, fantastic. Nico Rosberg gets another win in the season, which extends his championship to 26 points. He's got a race win over Lewis Hamilton, who would have thought that? We're sitting in 7th with 40 points, 7 down from Massa. It's Mercedes, Ferraris, Williams, Sauber, then the 2 Red Bulls, and then Lotus of Grosjean, because he actually got 3rd in the first race in Australia, which was very impressive. Anyway, that has been the 2015 Canadian Grand Prix with me as Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber. Thank you guys for watching. I really do enjoy doing this stuff. Oh, we are 6 points behind Red Bull. It's fucking on, boys. Let's go. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, goodbye.